Everybody has a different decorating style, so this week there's something for everyone. Hi, my name is Leslie and welcome to Happy Tuesday, where we do crafts and DIYs and home decor and more. Now, if you stay till the very end of the video, I'll give you a hint on one of the things that we're going to be doing next week. So let's get started. Let's get started with project number one. This one was at the request of my sister. She asked me to turn this large tree into a smaller tree. And so this one's for you, Margaret. You'll need some yarn, some lights, some trees from Dollar Tree, and some red tooling and ribbon. So the first thing you're going to do is fluff out these trees flat on one side and fluffy on the other, and then you're going to put the two flat sides together. Now if you'll notice, I put one side a little higher than the other just so that I could use the base to stand up. Now I apologize that this little part here is out of focus a little bit. I'm learning a new camera. Anyhow, so I took the white ribbon and I cut it 3 strips at 24 inches each. That way it could get all the way around the tree, and that's going to tie my gnome's beard to the back of the tree. Now I'm going to do it in 3 different layers. So this long layer, I am taking my chenille yarn that I bought at Dollar Tree and I'm wrapping it around my cutting mat, and I wrapped it around approximately 25 times. So that'll give me 50 different pieces. Now I'm going to take the white ribbon and I am folding the yarn pieces in half and then running one end through the other so that it secures it onto the ribbon. Here, I'll do it a little bit slower for you. You fold the yarn in half, make a little loop on one side, and then put the yarn through that loop and pull it tight, and there you have the beard. Now I did this. These are approximately 18 inches long each, so it turns out to be a 9-inch fringe. And then this second bundle is about 12 inches long each, so then it will turn into a 6-inch piece. And then I'll make a 4-inch piece for the front part of the beard. And I cut a little piece out of cardboard to do that. And once I've got all 3 of the fringes made for the gnome's beard, then I will lay all 3 layers together and give the bottom layer just a little trim up so that they are a nice fluffy beard. Once that step is completed, we will move along to putting lights on our tree. Now I started with the fairy lights that I bought from Amazon, and I didn't think they were bright enough, and so then I went on to these larger white, clear white lights that I got from Dollar Tree, but I thought they were a little too bulky and big, so I went back to Dollar Tree and I bought fairy light sizes that are the bright white, and I will show you those at the very end. Well, that'll be what's on the tree at the very end anyway. So once I've got the lights on, then I'm going to secure the beard where I want it to be and trim up the edges. And then I'm going to take the red tooling and I wove it in and out of the branches, leaving a little bit of a loop there that I can fluff out to make the bottom of the gnome's hat. And then I will take the tooling after this is done. Now I did about, I want to say 3 or 4 layers. I probably used somewhere in the order of 6 to 9 feet of that tooling. So if you buy the kind from Dollar Tree, I believe it's a 9-foot roll. So you'll use up the whole roll doing this part, and you'll need 2. I believe I got this roll at Dollar General, and it was an 18-foot roll, so I only needed the 1 roll. Now I'm cutting 24-inch strips, and honestly, I'm flying by the seat of my pants here. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to ruffle it so that it looks like the hat in the picture, or the top of the hat in the picture. And so I start by gathering them together, folding them in half, and grabbing the bottom side. I don't know why I measured it, because I didn't ever use that measurement. I just grabbed the bottom and put them all together. I believe I cut 10 strips, and then I am going to figure out how fluffy I want my poof,
And then I will take a small little zip tie. Now I buy my zip ties at Harbor Freight, and I folded over the bottom edge of what was left to make a little loop there, and I'm gonna secure that with my zip tie. And then I'm going to take one of these Dollar Tree, I don't even remember what they're called. They have a wire thing in them, so they're bendable, but it looks kind of like the tree branches, and I'm going to put them through these two sides of that loop, and that's what I'm going to use to secure this poof to the top of the tree. One side goes in fairly easily, and on the other side, I feel like I am on the struggle bus with this. I try to pull it apart, I try to stick my finger in there, and then get a screwdriver, and pretty much I'm just kind of like popping a hole now because I can't figure out where the edges of this are. But I finally get my life together, and I get this second set through there, and then we're going to move on to the nose. So here we are with these little ornaments. I bought them at Hobby Lobby and they were on half price. And then I took the base off and I painted it a parchment white color. And then I secured the nose on, and here we are, all complete. That will bring us to project number 2. This is so cute and super easy. So just grab whatever corks that you have saved and some pom-poms. We're just going to need one little white one and some red and white paint. And then I picked out all the corks that we're going to match well together, and you're going to need 6 in each row for 2 bottom rows of white, and you'll paint the end of all 12 of those pieces white. And then the next row will be 5, the row after that will be 4, then 3, then 2, then 1. Then you're going to need 3 extra pieces to hang over as a dangle for the pom-pom end of the hat. So I'm going to paint all 12 of these white, and then I will paint all the remainder ends red and touch up as needed and let them dry. I used the white chalk paint from Folk Art, and the red chalk paint was Crimson by Waverly. And then it's time to assemble. So I am using hot glue, and I use Gorilla Glue as my hot glue, and you're just going to glue each layer together and then glue them all together, and that will be just as simple as that. And just as a quick reminder, you have 6 in each row on the bottom 2 rows of white, then 5, then 4, then 3, then 2, then 1, and then 3 dangly hangovers in the red. This could be something to do with the kids or grandkids and just work together with the hot glue. let's put the finishing touches on it. You'll put that pom-pom on the very last dangly edge. And then I just picked a tiny little pick I had in my craft room. You can pick up little picks at Hobby Lobby or any craft store really, or even Dollar Tree. And then I just secured that pick in there to give the bottom of the hat just a little bit more fun decor. And here we are, all completed. And then we're going to get started with project number 3. This was super easy. So I bought this little wooden nativity scene from Hobby Lobby. It was $10 on 50% off, so it was $5. And I used a black flat spray paint and gave them a good coat on one side. It's been raining here in Texas, and so luckily this day wasn't too cold or too wet at this point of the day. Once I've given it a good coat on the one side, then I'm going to take a scrap piece of wood that my husband found. It's a 1x1. You could use a 1x2 or any scrap wood you find, or you could go to the hardware store and buy a piece. You just need it long enough for all of your pieces to fit on. And I stained mine with a Minwax walnut stain. Got my heavy-duty gloves on so that I don't get that stain all over my hands, because you guys know me, I'm a mess. We have these really cool concrete picnic tables that the previous owner of our house had installed on the side, and so it makes it a great place to be able to craft outside. Now I flipped them all over, and I'm going to give them a second coat on the back and let them dry, and then we will assemble. If I were to do this project again, I would use a combination of wood glue and hot glue in order to give it a now hold and a stronger later hold. And here it is, all complete and just looking so cute. I just love this so much, and I hope you do too. All right, it's time to get started with project number 4. Now, my husband said we apparently have a lot of these 1x1 pieces, so he cut down some pieces for me. You can see one set is a little bit bigger than the other set, so it really doesn't matter what size they are. Just make the tree whatever size you want it to be. Now, as I was showing you all that antique wax by Waverly, I spilled it. Haven't seen it yet, but I will in just a minute. And I'm going to use that spilled antique wax to give each of these a nice coat. Now, I'm going to give them a real rustic kind of look. So I stained them first with that antique wax, and then I'm going to go back in and dry brush some white chalk paint on them and give them a nice little rustic appearance. I got a little bit heavy-handed on this one, and so I tried to wipe it off and then use water to drown it down a little. I don't know what I was thinking here. So then I ended up just adding a little bit more to it and then deciding, that could be one of the pieces that gets hidden. I've got 2 sides that'll be hidden, one attached to the bottom and one where the paper's going to go in a minute. So I'm going to continue whitewashing them or dry brushing them with the white chalk paint, making sure to get the ends and everything that'll be seen. And then I will go in and start the process to put the paper on. Now I'm going to use the dry Mod Podge method. So I'm going to go in with some Mod Podge. Now I used the matte Mod Podge, but it wouldn't really matter whether you use matte or the glossy kind or whatever kind you happen to have on hand. And I'm going to give a nice coat onto all the sides of the wood blocks that I'm going to be putting paper on. And while that dries, then I will select the different papers. I found this set of papers in my craft room, but I do know that they've got them at Hobby Lobby right now, and they're 50% off, so you can get these little booklets of paper pretty cheap. This is a 3x4 or 4x4, I think, piece of paper. So some of the pieces I had to patch together, but they all turned out cute, and you can't really tell anyway once it's all done. So I'm going to go through here and just kind of pick papers, and I found this one that had several different papers all on several different designs. Let's do this right. Several different designs on all the same page, and so I thought that would be perfect, and it actually was the right size. It was about a 1-inch slit, so I guess this is a 5x5 then. That would make sense. 5x5 piece of pad of paper, and I'm going to go through and get all my pieces picked and let that Mod Podge dry, and then I will start ironing them on. Alright, so I'm going to use some parchment paper and my little Cricut mini press, and I am going to press that on. I like this method of Mod Podge best because then you actually get I think, a stronger hold, and also you don't have to worry about bubbles in your paper. And then I'm going to take this heavy duty nail file and I'm going to file off all the edges of the paper to give me that nice little white look on it. You'll see here in a second. And then I'm going to take my brown ink pad that I have from Hobby Lobby, and I am going to rub it on the edges and give them a little rustic look, and a little bit of rubbing on the center part of the paper too. This particular sheet of paper had a dark side on one end and a dark side on the other, and so I'm going to add a little dark side to that end to make them blend where I pieced it together. And then I just go back with the Cricut mini press just a little bit more. One of the edges was not sealed down as much as I wanted them, and then you can see that patched in piece now looks perfectly matching with the other side. And I continued this same method until I got all the papers and all the rustic parts on all of the pieces. Now to get to work on that star, I took a little bit of the antique wax and rubbed a little bit of that on it, and then I rubbed a little bit of the white chalk paint on and just kind of gave it, I mean, it was already rustic looking, so I'm not even sure why I was doing all this, but anyway, I had to give it my own little touch, and then I'm going to find a piece of paper. Now the brush that I have in my hand right now is a fan brush, and I thought, you know what, that red piece needs a little bit of color, and so I'm going to take that fan brush and I'm going to dry brush some white on there and kind of a crisscross pattern to match with the paper, and I thought that just brightened it up a little bit. And then I put a little bit of that dry brushing on each of the pieces. Now you could just skip the whole step of putting the brown ink pad on each of the pieces and just left those white paper edges. I think that would have looked cute too. So now I'm going to take this star and I'm going to take my miter shears and I'm going to cut a piece of dowel so that I can secure that star to the top. I'm going to use my handy dandy little drill and I am going to drill a hole in the star. And then I'm also going to drill a hole in the top block to secure that in. And here I'm going to put that paper on top of the star. I've already Mod Podged it and that has dried. And then I will start assembly. To secure the star, I use that wood glue from Super Glue that you can buy at Dollar Tree. And then to secure all the other pieces, I used a combination of the wood glue and the hot glue, and then made sure that each side was even on the other side, so the tree looks like a tree. And I just glued down each of the pieces in that same method. Now I got to the piece that you see coming up next, and I don't know what I was thinking. I thought, okay, I'm gonna put all this glue on here, although you see I measured it with a star, and then I thought, oh, well, I guess it's just gonna be upside down. Nobody will be able to tell this is a holly piece. And get the last piece on, and here is the completed project. And on to our final project, project number 5. And this one is so simple. I took one of these battery operated lights that you can get at Dollar Tree and a little pillar candle and some burlap ribbon that I bought last year on clearance from Hobby Lobby. And then I have a little garland that I bought at Hobby Lobby on clearance last year as well that I'm going to use as decor, and a little bit of twine. And I'm just going to take my hot glue and glue that burlap right to the candle. And as you see, I'm just kind of using whatever I've got sitting next to me to help tack that glue down. I burned myself earlier and it was not fun. So I'm just trying to be a little extra cautious at this moment. And turned it on, made sure how that looked, and then I'm going to take a little bit of this garland and I took some of the berries off and then took a piece of the greenery and decorated up this candle and kind of upscaled it into a beautiful new look. here we are, all completed. So cute.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really did enjoy our time. Now, since you stayed around to the end, I'm going to show you a couple of things that we will need for next week's video. And they can all be found at the Dollar Tree right now. So, until then, make it a great day and Happy Tuesday!